Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Scott, and today we're doing something a little bit different. I've had a few people ask me how I did the snow bases on my werewargs, so I've gone ahead and made a little bit of a tutorial. It's not very difficult, so let's go ahead and dive right into this tutorial. To start things off, the first thing I do whenever I make a base plate on a model is I take corkboard and I figure out where I want to put it on the model, and then I just break off pieces that are roughly the shape that I want to put on my base plates. Often when making Conquest bases, the rocks will overlap from the base plate to the stand, so all I do is take an X-Acto blade and just cut the overlapping pieces. Once you know where you want the pieces of corkboard to go, all we need to do is take a bit of glue and glue these down. I like to use super glue whenever I'm bonding two different materials together, but you could do this with PVA glue. It would just take longer. If you want to make some of the rock piles a little bit taller, you can take additional pieces of corkboard and glue them on top of the first layer. You can do as many layers as you want, but I don't recommend doing more than 3, as it starts to distract from the model when you get too large with the rocks. Once we're happy with the placement and height of the rocks on the base plate, we want to make them look a little bit more exciting and less flat. So all we're going to do is take and manually chip the edges of the rocks with our fingers. You can go as crazy as you want with this, but it is smart to do a mix of roughed up edges and flat surfaces so the rocks look a little bit more natural. Once we're finished with the rocks, we're going to take Vallejo's thick European mud texture paste. We're going to apply this to all of the flat surfaces of the base plate. Once we've allowed that texture paste to dry completely, we're going to take a cheap brown paint for the base coat of the mud. In this case, I used Nutmeg Brown from Apple Barrel. We're also going to use a cheap gray paint for all of the rocks on the base plate. For this, I used Pewter Gray from Apple Barrel. Once we're happy with those base colors, we're going to apply a heavy brown wash over the mud on the base. In this case, I used Agrax Earthshade. Next, we're going to do a black wash over all of the rocks on the base. My go-to black wash is Nuln Oil, but you could use any black wash that you'd like. Once both of those washes have dried, we're going to take a tan paint and dry brush this over the mud on the model. My go-to paint for this is Xandri Dust. We're also going to dry brush the rocks using an off-white color, and I found that there's not really a specific off-white that turns out better than any other, so you can really use whichever paint you want. Our next step is to take a snow texture paste and apply this in patches on the base. We're not covering the entire base because we want it to look like the mud has been exposed by troops walking through the snow. Now, I chose to use Valhallan Blizzard from Citadel, but I know Vallejo sells an equally good texture paste that is cheaper and sold in larger quantities. Now, you could leave the base as it is right now, but if you want to make it a little bit more gritty, you can take Blood for the Blood God from Citadel, and you can apply this in splotches anywhere that either blood would have dripped or been spread around as troops are walking around on the ground. Now, when you do this, make sure that you do it after you've applied the varnish to your model, because the varnish will ruin the effect of the Blood for the Blood God paint. And there you have it. That is how I do my snow bases on my werewargs. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I really hope that you've enjoyed it. If you have, be sure to like it and then subscribe to the channel so you can see future videos I make. I'd like to give a special shout out to my channel members that make videos like this possible. If you would like to become a channel member, hit the join button below this video. As always, have an amazing day, and we'll catch you in the next one.